Okay guys, so I did tell you guys some stuff about this coin and I wanted to show it to you in more detail. So in the 1400s there was a silver coin made just like this. Had the three dots, had the circle. Only I've seen that coin, and if you look closely at the center of this cross, it is not the standard one of its day. In fact, neither is the base of this cross. You see the arch to the bottom of the cross and the shape? Okay, this one was never actually used, guys. This was never a die that got used in Spain, ever. It never did. This is, just like I said, this was a stolen die of a design that did not get used. And then the pirates used it to strike their coinage. That was their original plan. On the other side, oops, that's right. Sorry about that, I'm doing this on a bit of an odd angle so you guys can see. Okay, there. Then now you have this side. Okay. Now, there is another coin that looks almost identical to this one, only the writing here, to a lot of people, that's Latin. Only I actually speak some Latin. And I've had this examined by people because I knew enough to know that this isn't Latin. And it's actually Roman. This die was a Roman die that had never been used, designed and never used. That is the proof that this story is real. Because in the end, this pirate piece of 8 was an attempt by pirates who had taken over the Camen Islands to mint their own currency. They took a known measure of silver and they simply put that onto an anvil, basically, and struck it with a hammer that had the mark. Okay? So all we're doing in this video is showing you a little bit of the proof of this story from hell. And people who are real proper coin collectors, from what I'm showing in this video, should be able to verify this story. Now, not everybody knows about these. A lot of coin collectors, in fact, the vast majority I could find originally, know nothing about coins that didn't get minted. That's an impossible area for coin collectors because they produce books, and the books show every coin ever minted. Good luck finding it there. You'll never find either of these dies, but in the right years, you can find ones that are close. The problem is with ancient Roman stuff like this is from, there is no book that tells all, because some of that stuff was so long ago, it's really difficult to track every single coin from every single year that was made and put it in a book for you guys. Oh, come on, boy. I don't know what's going on there. There you go. Very interesting. You can see the details on the cross here that matter, because this one has a very different cross section in the middle and a very different bottom than any one that ever actually got used. On the other side, it's the Roman writing. There's one here that is Latin written and very, very similar. In fact, when you look at it, you'd swear it was just this one faded. That this one's just that faded, but it's not. It's Roman. The lettering around the edge is totally different. But other than that, it's identical. And the reason is many of the dies that have been used, especially back then, were taken from similar sources. Meaning the Spanish had dies that they might have come up with 4 for a particular year. And so they were all sitting in the same vault together. One got used and later destroyed, and the other 3 dies didn't get used. They got stored in case people wanted to use them later, and eventually transported to some other facility. Get stolen by the pirates en route because it wasn't a serious cargo, just these 3 dies, sets of die sets that didn't get used. And the same goes for the Romans, only in this case, the Roman one, it was one sent to be destroyed, because if they're not used eventually, they'll generally be destroyed. The dies will be. And that was the case with this one. Whereas the Spanish one, they actually were holding this die and figuring they might use it because it's incredibly similar to another one that got made, but the cross is different. And those are the only differences, guys. This is a pirate piece of 8. So when I tell you the story of the silver, and I tell you the story of Blackbeard, know that this was his coin. Now, there are a lot of other Spanish reals and various other Spanish coins from this era that look similar. And really, only a real expert could spot the difference. I knew from seeing the etching in Blackbeard's diary that this cross was exactly this way. I have held other Spanish reels, and this is not a Spanish reel. It looks like it should be, right up until you closely examine it in good lighting, which is why, as I told the story, you can see the Roman writing there. It's very faded. It's very hard to tell. Unfortunately, Blackbeard played with this coin a lot. He was seen to do this and play with it, even to flick it in the air on the deck of his ship. Now look at how thin that is. Had he dropped it, it would have been gone forever, more than likely. But it is a very, very thin piece of metal. Very properly struck, very smooth, very even. And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do. That actually takes a good deal of practice, guys, to make a striking of a coin that's flat. Now, had this been a very practiced hand, it would have been straighter. You don't see regular coinage struck this badly. In fact, the only reason these are so badly offset, because this should be more centered, and the only reason that they are the way they are is, see how badly offset this one is? This was the first attempt of any of them to strike their own currency. And so it's like he didn't know what he was doing. And he struck it incorrectly. That's all that is. And then there's the wear from him handling it. So this is my coin. And as you can see, I do keep it in the case for a reason. But it's not really the reason you might think. In fact, this isn't the original one. It's just so that it doesn't get lost in my wallet. I am not a coin collector, but I have had this one for many years and will keep it, no doubt, for many more. So, that is the coin itself and a little brief discussion of the coin. I'm not going to go fully into its history, but I will say the following. At no point in history, in the 600 years since that coin's minting, has it ever actually been lost. It was documented and held in the hands of various collectors throughout its life. In fact, all 8 of those pirate coins, because each of the pirate lords made one, each one of those is still in existence today. There are 7 other coins just like this one, held by slightly less famous pirates to greatly less famous pirates, depending on the individual. But this one is considered to be the most valuable because it was his. Not only because it was his, because of the documentation of that particular coin. The etching in his diary, for example. Anyway, that being said, I have been offered a fair bit of money for that coin, but I will not accept it. Soon, I will tell you the story of the curse of the coin, because it is one of the known cursed objects in and of itself. And it, believe it or not, has a very separate curse from the silver, which cursed Blackbeard so long ago.